Alright, so this is the developer's commentary for the Remains. I'm just going to be showing you guys around with this map. Don't get too attached to it. It is getting scrapped eventually. Considering this balancing state that I accidentally put this in, you probably don't like it very much. So we were going to have like original paintings for this, but we kind of just forgot to do it. So you're just stuck with these. And yeah, these don't really make any sense in the context of the game. You have this little not very high detail outside spot because it is pretty much covered up by the door. So the most you can see is like this. I would probably still add more detail anyway. And you know, something that really pisses me off too, it's this. I don't know why I didn't add the same like universal texture for this side. I just decided I'd be too lazy. So we just end up with something that looks like this. I don't know why I didn't fix that, but it could be worse. There was originally like a zip line here, but I figured it was too unbalanced, so I got rid of it. And to prevent looping, there used to be like a huge loop here because this window didn't have an opening. So I tried to split that in two just to make sure that there wouldn't be any issues. But there did actually used to be hunter doors to make this more balanced, but considering it's a fighting game, it would be kind of weird because the hunter could just go in and out to escape, especially in like, I don't know, LNS if the Remnant is getting a lot of good shots on the killer. So we got rid of hunter doors and instead all Remnants have the same access to everything, and it's going to stay that way for all we know. This was also going to be like a vertical section. I cut it off with an invisible wall because, you know, everybody hates verticality for some reason. There's going to be a stairwell here on both sides, and I guess bouncers didn't really like that, so we had to get rid of it. We also had to get rid of this giant this bookcase loop. I don't know who added it or why they added it, but you know, not to throw them under the bus, but it was pretty broken, so I added some holes through it just to make it so you can't really loop around it. And we also added some holes in here just to have like some access to the outside section. Plus we added a little bit of detail around here. This was supposed to be Geometry's body, but it doesn't really make sense with the lore, so it's just kind of a random guy. But he does keep the same name as Geometry. Yes, he's dead, by the way. If you didn't know that, Turbo should have told you. Oh, this is my favorite part, because originally you were just able to like loop around this giant tree, right? That was obviously going to be a problem. Like, people just kept looping this and testing, so I fixed it and added a fence here just to make sure nobody can go past it. And, you know, the entire reason the section's here in the first place is because Turbo told me that the map was too small and we needed to expand it. This is another example of where a hunter door would be. There was originally going to be, like, a hunter door like this, right? It was just going to block off, like, this whole section for Remnants, so hunters could go through and cut off the loop. But the loop's pretty small anyway, hunters can catch up. Whoa, I do not remember doing this. This used to be like a realistic ramp. Hold on, I can probably pull up the model. I think someone did something for the better and changed it. Maybe it was me. I really forgot. The map's getting remade anyway. It doesn't matter. We'll probably try to keep the core gameplay, just like make it not so retro slot because you've got like these huge mountainous places and then you kind of have to wait for your jump timer to take these shortcuts, and it's just really not smooth. The bridge section was actually one of the first things we did. We had like this bridge to go to this like dead end part. I don't know if this is very viable because this is like the hunter spawn, so in comp play it'd be kind of weird. For indication purposes though, I made sure these are transparent so you could see through them. We didn't really carry that philosophy in Pizza Place, so you can just kind of hide behind all the foliage. Going back to this part, these little cubbies here, they were originally going to be blocked off by hunter doors too. Like there's going to be a huge hunter door like this. And, you know, as hunter doors got removed, we got rid of that. So instead, we added planks here to make pathing better. I haven't really considered the implications of just, like, camping up here, though. Because, yeah, you can't really get up here if you don't take the plank. But this part here, I don't know if this is an invisible wall. There probably should be one. There should definitely be an invisible wall here. I guess not. I guess you can just jump in the foliage. I, like, modeled these broken trusses in Blender, but they look kind of goofy. They're, like, oversized. They're really fat trusses. If I were changing anything, I would probably just do it like this. I would like have multiple of these or something. I'd do a remodel instead of just like copy and pasting because it just doesn't really fit in the map. You know, I don't really like these paintings either. I don't like these placeholder paintings because like they're outdated, first of all. This logo's outdated, but also they just kind of break the fourth wall. It's like, obviously nobody's like setting up these paintings. They've been here the whole time. Why do they have the game's logo on it, you know? But that's just a pet peeve of mine. And this too. This isn't even trying to be a painting, right? This is just a render. We added this in as like a placeholder, but we never made a painting for it. So detailing was mostly done by Currenti. So I think most of the map was me and Currenti, but I could be wrong. Originally, this was just going to be like a huge statue. It was going to be like a Tuk Sahur inside. I'm not kidding, by the way. There's probably screenshots of that. And yeah, like this whole section really is just kind of boring. You know, I don't know why I'm going back to it. It's a good thing the text cuts off here, that it's a circle, and I used a clipping mask. You do not want to see what's on the other side of that text, all right? Again, it doesn't matter. This map is getting scrapped anyway. Who cares? But also, this section's really interesting because originally you were actually going to be able to access the theater through here, through the stairs. We had hunter doors like, let me show you. Hunter doors were like this. They would just cover up like this, right? And they'd be on these sides. So it would let the hunters enter through the left and right side, but not the middle, which ended up being the most powerful loop. So I don't know what I was thinking. We ended up having hunter door in the middle of here, but obviously hunter doors got removed, and that kind of just didn't happen. We've also got the Verline logo here. Watch out, watch out. Verline's gonna be very significant in this game's lore. No, just kidding. We just added this in here. It's just gonna be like a one-off thing if it gets in the game at all. If I were to change anything, which I might actually do right now, I'm actually gonna add a lamp under here so you can kind of like see through this this section, because the lighting kind of gets messed up in the main game because it's way darker than you expect. That's what happened with the circus. Like, the exposure compensation was 1 less than it should be, which led to it being really dark and hard to see in. And yeah, I was really scared that Obvious would find a way to, I don't know, fucking back jump into here. So I made sure to add invisible walls to make sure that this was completely inaccessible. I'm pretty sure someone can still climb up the wedge here. Uh-oh. They can make that jump, can't they? Alright, well, forget that. I'm just going to resize align this just to be sure. I'm pretty sure wall hopping is patched in this game. I guess it doesn't matter now. See, this is kind of what we do. Like, we just look for stuff, and we want to make sure that it's not, like, literally going to ruin the entire purpose of the game. Yeah, see what I mean? Like, this wedge, someone could totally climb that, so you extend it outwards, right? You extend the invisible wall. You want to make sure that nobody can climb surfaces they're not supposed to. But these, for example, nobody can really get here. At least we think they can't. So we disabled the collisions for this and set the collision fidelity to box for optimization purposes. Because if this were like an actual collidable mesh, that would be like a whole can of worms, right? Because there's just so much extra geometry. And then, like, we really tried to consolidate parts for like the non-stud stuff. For our trees, we kind of just winged it. In all honesty, there wasn't really a consistent style we had. We wanted to do something that looked cool, but wasn't too distracting at the same time. If I were redesigning this, I would have made it like a lot flatter. So you can't just climb on here and do some crazy obvious stuff. Because I know people love playing around with the jump feature, which almost kind of convinces me that we might need to remove jumping to begin with. But you can discuss that in the comments or whatever. And then I was the one who specifically designed this outer terrain to make sure that, like, it didn't just look like an endless void. I wanted to make it look like there was actually terrain that was covering this stuff. I wanted to make sure that it looked like it had been overgrown with rocks, as if it had been there for like millions of years. Not that that's how geology actually works, don't take my word for it, but I just wanted to make it look old. But, you know, the consequence of that is that there's Z fighting like this. See, I didn't have this plugin back then. I had to manually enter the sizes to fix it like this. But, you know, thanks to a very cool plugin called Z Fighting Fixer, please don't give me a virus, you can just press this button and boom, it fixes it. Decoration, I didn't do much decoration. Correnti did most of that. I was like making sure that it fit the map style. Like for here example, this used to just be like unindicated invisible walls and you're supposed to kind of know that you didn't fall into the pit. I didn't like that, so I added these fences to make it clear. On the topic of the fences, this bridge part was killing me, alright? Like, because without these trusses, right? This is the whole reason the trusses were here in the first place. Let's just delete them. Food for thought. You can just like go around, you know? And then if we extend the invisible wall, just to make sure that people don't go around, like, it just has this weird cutoff, see? And if we try to resize it down, why does that actually... That's actually a... What? That's a solution we could have done? Why didn't I just do this? Hold on, why didn't I just do this? Can someone please explain to me why I just didn't do this? Hello? We could have done this? Yeah, okay, I'm firing somebody. Trubo, please fire the next builder who joins the server. Once they join, just fire them immediately, please. Thank you. Well, yeah. Don't expect these updates I'm making, by the way. Don't expect them to get in the game. The map is scrapped. It might appear as a variant later, like a map variant, you know. But, like, I mean, I'm pretty proud of the map, but it just doesn't fit the game style. So I'm really sorry that it's getting scrapped to people who actually liked it. I don't think many people did, though. But back on topic to the map itself. I added this part here. I added this part so, like, you can't just endlessly loop the outside section. So it's like a cutoff here, it's a cliff. So you can kind of get jumped if you're just hiding out here. And then I also added this pretty cool staircase. I'm pretty proud of it. It could be better though. I like the stud materialing I did. Again, it could always be better. I'm not really the greatest builder. This part, it goes up here. And you know, the worst part about the outside section, in my opinion, is that there's just these weird invisible walls. I was gonna add fences, but I realized that'd just look really weird with like the angled terrain. So I decided not to do that. We just decided to add invisible walls. If there was something I could do differently, is find a better way to indicate this, right? But I can't really think of anything. We'll definitely figure something out on the next version of the map so you can know for sure where you're going. If you've got any questions, let me know. You know, this is a pretty small channel, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, have a good one, everybody.
Alright, so hold on. I have to use VC for now. My microphone is buggy, so it's called Tinker Taker. It's an awesome game, it's different lore, it is nothing like Forsaken, okay? Alright, here's the idea. There's an ARG called Untitled 104, and apparently I took a good game here. Okay, I'm still live, I can just explain it to you, because I'm not gonna use this DM. What? It's a coming game, okay?